Introduce yourself, Aditya.
I'm Aditya, ma'am. I'm a commerce graduate. I've completed my entire education in Hyderabad only, and I did my master's as well as my graduation from Usman University. After that, I was JRF scholar in Usman University. I published two research papers, and after that, I was employed with Bank of Baroda as a credit officer. I took care of the retail portfolio over there, and I've resigned in 2021. Since then, I'm preparing for this exam.
So, can you throw some light on your JRF research topic?
My JRF research topic is cyber atmospheric, wherein all the factors that drive the consumer behavior online will be studied in that. So the fastest reach you have to the product is the color influencing, how many layers of the security are there, how many layers are you is the customer facing in approaching the product. These things will be analyzed so the conversion rate is better and the person doesn't skip to a competitive market.
Okay. So you worked in bank, right?
Yes, yes.
Can you talk about banking crisis and solutions?
Banking crisis, basically, I think at the ground level, there's a due diligence issue. So due diligence, the relation, the top management, whatever relation they have with the processing officers. This relation, the due diligence part, they're not completing it totally, and it is being trusted upon because I, being a processing officer, I know what kind of pressure the officers handle. And without any due diligence, obviously, I can give you a personal example if you permit me.
Yes.
In the very first year of my joining, there was a 57 lakh car loan which we got. So initially on the face of it, I spoke to the customer and I asked him, he was politically well connected also. I asked him, sir, what is your profile expense? I did all the due diligence and based upon my gut feeling, I rejected that. So that loan was processed in my absence because the manager knew that I was resisting a lot. And but if I put my dissent no, that cannot go ahead. So he processed that loan and within 6 to 8 months, it turned into an NPA. So based on this, I can strongly say that when the due diligence part is ignored, this NPA is a little fallout of the due diligence process. This is one. Because based on my practical experience, I think it's the most strongest part. And the collusion happens at the very high level, which I was not exposed to. It happens at the DGM level and level beyond that, wherein a quid pro quo relation is established between these two players. And since I was not a party to that, I cannot comment on that issue. Because that was a fallout in Nirav Modi and Mehul Chokski's case also. So that is my perspective on that.
What is the rate of expenditure on research in India?
We are barely touching, we are not even touching 5% of our GDP. Because if you see the rival countries wherein America is touching close to 15% and Israel is touching close to 9%, our research, there's a serious shortfall on our research here.
How to address brain drain?
Brain drain, whatever mechanisms we have right now, whatever schemes that we can motivate to bring back the people and establishing the connection with the alumni. If you can take the example of Harvard University or Cambridge University, I don't say that the same can be replicated because we are still in the phase of moving towards that standard. If you can establish a relation with the previous alumni, I think the funding as well as the skill set and their experience which they bring in, that can be a very good value addition for the students who are pursuing and will improve the profile as well as the productivity of the university.
Being from Telangana,
Yes.
do you know anything about the Spandana program?
Spandana program, wherein the grievance redressal, that basically the grievance redressal mechanism of Andhra Pradesh government, wherein any issue is resolved within a specific time frame.
Okay.
And matter is automatically escalated in case it is not addressed at that time.
And then why government again launched another program which is on the same time, which is called Janana Suraksha?
Sorry, sir, not.
May I know the status of your thesis?
Thesis, actually, it was in the final phase of my submission, sir. But my guide wanted some additional information, so which I could not provide timely because immediately I was selected as a credit officer. Back to back, I had to join, and barely I had any time to make modifications also. He gave me the timeline. Okay, anyways, it's a dynamic topic. You put in some additional work. Meanwhile, COVID kicked in, and I could not provide the timely information. That was the reason.
You said that e-commerce as your.
Yes.
What is your critical observation on scaling of e-commerce platforms in India? Even one of the CEO mentioned that startups can mimic the ideas,
Yes.
successful ideas, rather than going for testing new ideas and wasting time and resources.
Yes.
Yesterday it was the news.
Yes.
Even the ministry, our honorable minister mentioned the statement. What is your take on that?
So I think e-commerce, there are two parts. One is the startup part, and one is whatever network has been built, the Kirana shop local network has been built. This, if you can open with the e-commerce, I'll address two issues separately. This, if you can open with the e-commerce, open network for digital commerce is the next basic, next big revolution that's going to happen. And already training session is also underway for the majority of the merchants. So if this can be integrated into the mainstream without the feeling that you are eating into these people's profit share, you can make them partners in development. This is the next big thing that's going to happen. And regarding startups, for a time frame of 3 to 5 years, I think the entire industry will be in a state of flux. You cannot push them to follow specific things because basically they are not here to generate employment also, they're here to make money. And the latest economic survey also speaks about the flipping tendency, wherein they are developing, raising it up to a seed capital level and immediately they are changing the ownership. So this tendency also, it will take time to address that. And this flux situation from 3 to 5 years, it will take a 3 to 5 year period for it to standardize. So after that, you can expect some solid gains in this sector. Until then, this has to be looked at a platform wherein you can attract FDI, so that the technology perspective, managerial expertise, whatever they bring in, that can be utilized positively for our economy.
Given the opportunity, do you have any plans to start e-commerce business? Because you have done the research.
Yes.
Do you have any plans to integrate your experience into the administration, or you can explore the business opportunities?
Definitely, sir. Definitely, whatever I've studied the consumer behavior online, the model of a customer really approaching a website and making his final purchase, it's similar to a person who's approaching services in a government Me Seva. And if you look at people who are in a lethargic phase, they just want to pay, but they don't want to go. So the option that we have is buy now is an option which we use in e-commerce. Pay now, that can be substituted. And there's a statistic also wherein the economic survey says the two-step process for tax payment, it was reduced to one-step process, and that increased the compliance by 30%. Such kind of things I'm exposed to, and I can easily have a grasp in the administration once they are applied.
You said you work for a utility.
Yes, sir.
And could you please?
Basically, we are supporting skill development, we are supporting education, and during the COVID phase also, we supported this. Aman Vedika is a specific orphanage. They are under the Arun Society. So we supported them with supplies and medical essentials also. We did a medical health camp also for 100 odd kids. We did a medical health camp, and we take personality development classes also. Based on our networking that we have, we bring in doctors because those students, they are in a formative phases. So initially a person is exposed to a profession, the kind of reinforcement that have in minds of the student to pursue that particular career, they are in that budding phase. So we try to get interactive with all those people. And regarding menstrual cycle also, we have arranged meetings with doctors so that the initial woman, girl child can have exposure. And regarding sexual harassment also, we have made interactions with these people.
And you said you are working for kids.
Yes, yes,
Girl child.
yes.
And why you put some welfare officers before, below most of the options like administrative officer, district officer? It means aren't you contradicting yourself?
Sir, I don't see it as a contradiction, sir, because based upon the scope of the service, whatever the scope of the service offers, I think I've gone according to that. And as far as my knowledge goes, your scope is limited to that welfare activity, and you're more exposed to one particular platform rather than the other developmental offices which are earlier mentioned, which have a broader scope. And of their work, this development aspect is a small subset. So based on these parameters, I've gone for this higher service.
Okay, how many district register can have more to work for these underprivileged children?
So district registrar, in that sense, I can say that his scope is also a desk job restricted to that.
Even in treasury services also you are about those welfare officers.
Yes. So I also went based on the number of the posts that were available, sir, because there are hardly any posts in the preference. So based on that also, there is a high probability that I might be selected based on that. So I already thought about that. So maybe one or two posts, and me being a non-local, definitely I think that because I'm not sure of the local reservation that is currently in Andhra. So some people are voting 15, 20, 30, and some posts are open only 2. So this factor also has weighed in my mind before I made my decision regarding that.
Will you maintain the same attire on the day of interview?
No, sir, no. I would add on a suit, and I'm also thinking of a
And what about the beard?
clean shave. I'm also
Clean
thinking
shave.
clean shave. Clean shave.
And the shirt you wear is like some kind of elegant.
Okay.
And I think it may dominate the position you where you sit itself. Is it so?
So, sorry, I couldn't get the question.
Like you wore a shirt which is elegant,
Okay.
and interview panel may trigger you on that topic. Is it
Okay.
so?
Anyways, I would be wearing a suit, sir. So this will be totally covered and barely they can see the cuffs.
Okay, that's not an issue. And suppose you are going for an interview for APPSC in Vijayawada.
Yes.
How many districts you will cross from Hyderabad to Vijayawada?
From I'll be crossing 2 Telangana districts before I reach.
No, from Hyderabad to Vijayawada.
If you permit me, I can take a guess, sir.
Okay.
I can just think of Kodada before I reach Vijayawada, sir. I'm able to recollect me that.
At least can you tell me how many districts are there in Telangana? In Telangana while going to Vijayawada?
So I can think of Rangareddy and Suryapet before I touch in the Andhra border at Kodada.
Are you telling these districts which are reorganized at the previous one?
These districts are not after reorganization. These are states. These are the districts that I will be touching.
Okay. How many districts are there at present in Telangana?
In Telangana,
In
33.
30. Which one is the largest in terms of
Okay.
forest cover?
In terms of forest cover, Bhadradi Kottagudem is the largest.
So you are from Telangana,
Yes.
and Telangana had 503 posts, I think, if at all I am
Yes,
not
yes.
wrong. But Andhra Pradesh have how many posts?
111, so 90 plus 21.
But what prompted you to apply for APPSC?
So basically, I was born in a United AP and I was educated in United AP. I don't carry any such feelings like that. Whatever differences are there, they are mostly political and they are not people-centric. So I don't make any difference in a notification here or there, apart from the local, whatever the restrictions are, post division. I don't see any such difference between Telangana state and Andhra.
But you have to relocate now.
So regarding relocation, once I get into the service, I don't think so that will be a big problem. And I am totally committed to working in Andhra because I don't have a hangover that I'll come back to Telangana in case I get something over here. I don't have a hangover of that. I'm comfortable where I am and wherever my services are effectively delivered, I feel satisfied.
I think you have applied for only TSTS and APPSC, but you have not applied for any UPSC, CSC examination.
Yes.
You have, I think, very impressive resume. May I know why you didn't, why you didn't prepare for UPSC?
So basically, I appeared for UPSC mains in 18, 19 and 20. I didn't forgot to mention that detail. I wrote up to the mains and I could not clear the mains.
Then don't you think that you have been successful throughout your career?
Yes.
But why did you fail in those examinations?
I was not organized back then, and whatever my preparation was, that was more of a emotional and knee-jerk preparation. I was not properly guided, nor did I collect the correct material in a prompt manner. So that is the reason my success got delayed.
My last question is just regarding your subject. So how can you use your thesis knowledge in cyber security
Yes.
or cyber atmospherics now to improve the banking system?
In order to improve the banking system. So banking system, I can give you an example of SBI app. He has prioritized security more than the convenience. So what we need right now is I'll just demonstrate because even if you want to transact from your own account, you need 4 to 5 passwords wherein for the entry into the other web and on the second lane you need 4. This has to be simplified. This has to be simplified. At the same time, security cannot be compromised. So you have to link up the customer's personal accounts and probably some kind of voice recognition can be added to that. Voice recognition, and if you can add the voice recognition, you can do away with the OTP, because OTP anyone can share. If some other person is handling your mobile, or that OTP he can also share. If you can add that feature, voice recognition feature, that will be a very good addition.
That voice recognition can be, I mean, anyone can be mimicked, right?
Yeah, anyone can mimic it, but obviously every technology has certain constraints. This is just a proposition, so this can be further improvised.
And you said you work, I mean, you work with NGOs.
Yes, yes, I was.
So don't you think that, I mean, when you come into services, there will be some hurdles, like you have to follow some rules and regulations.
Yes.
And as a part of NGO, you have a free hand and will.
Yes.
So don't you think that it will demotivate you?
Sir, having participated, so you're asking me what was the second part of the question?
I mean, don't you think that you will be demotivated to give that effective service when you come into the service?
Okay.
To the people?
Sir, as part of my job, I faced numerous rejections, because as the head of the retail team, I built my acquaintances, I built my networking based on too many rejections. I didn't care about it. Ultimately, what I thought about was my delivery, whether I am able to deliver or not, and whatever work environment was there. I fought against the humiliations, whatever I faced, the humiliations and rejections, that didn't matter to me.
I'm not asking about humiliation. As a part of NGO, you have a free hand and will to do any service.
Yes.
So when you come into a government service and you have a particular thing to do, so you can't go beyond that scope and
Yes.
so don't you think I mean you are confined to that particular thing?
I'm not able to get it.
Okay, for example, if you are an NGO and you have to help some kids and
Yes, yes.
so you can do
Yes.
I mean by distributing books
Yes,
and all,
yes, yes,
food and medicine.
yes,
And if you become an administrative officer or revenue officer,
yes,
and there is very less scope to do these things. And as a revenue officer, you have to maintain that financial things only.
yes.
So don't you think you are limiting yourself in the service matter?
Okay. Sir, even though my personal domain is limited, but my professional domain, as part of my professional domain, I think I'll be in contact with my peers who can be further networked towards this cause. So I will be getting a larger platform wherein I can connect other few people to translate their motivations into this for the social service. So it's not just me. I can link up a few people. I can link up them to the NGO, and I can show them the work, and I can show them my constraints are these. So obviously, when I portray a picture, I think that I'm getting 5 to 6 people, more additional people. So in that way, there will be a valuation. It need not be me directly. So people who are introduced to the NGO through me also, that matters a lot, considering this situation. So in that way, the networking will be definitely improving the scale of whatever I'm doing right now.
So instead of doing, we
Yes.
do it by people and you will
Exactly. Yes, sir.
there will be some difference.
Definitely there will be a difference, but based upon my interaction and whatever closeness I have, I think I can continue the momentum, if not the perfect thing, as my personal presence would have been delivered.
Will you be satisfied by doing like that?
I will be satisfied whether I am working or I'm making people connect to the community. It's part of the larger thing, connecting the community and making the community pay back to the vulnerable, not pay back, giving back to the vulnerable. So it's a part of the larger cause.
And there are many NGOs who are working against it.
Yes.
For example, recently that the Tuticorin Sterling plant.
Yes.
What you are saying on this? In generally, NGOs is meant to do good to the people.
Yes, yes.
Rather than doing good, they are things. They are bringing them back.
Yes.
And what you are saying on this? As well a part of it.
Sir, compared to the good work that is going on, I think the protests that are presently on, this is a very fraction of the total magnitude of the work, sir. These NGOs, whatever they are protesting, and IB and raw flagged NGOs, these NGOs are just a marginal point of the total entire NGO basket and the diverse services that they are providing, be it in education, women empowerment, these things. And obviously, based upon the legal protocol that we have, these people have to face the law. And in case they are clean, they are always welcome in our country. That's not a problem. In case they have any ill-minded intentions towards the country's development, they'll have to face the authorities. That is my stand.
And recently, many NGOs are also not interested to take part in the regulations put up by Ministry of Home Affairs.
Yes.
I know. So, uh, so what you say that, I mean, do you agree that NGOs are doing harm to the society than
Yeah, just taking a cue from whatever I've answered earlier, whatever harm they are doing compared to whatever good they are doing, that is the good outweighs the harm, I believe, sir. Because if you see only one or two, three or four top NGOs, these are protesting against the government, and the rest all they are involved in serious business without the marketing, without the recognition. They are still slogging, they are still putting their efforts in the interior area. So I think we have to put the decision in their favor only. At the same time, balancing whatever the regulatory requirements, because we cannot give a free will to someone who wants to harm the country. So that framework has to, that balance has to be maintained. I think we cannot blanket the NGOs as good or bad, and it has to be looked at from a case-to-case perspective.
Taking a cue from what you have said regarding the accumulation that you have faced,
Yes, sir.
I can say that you have escaped your UPSC, mentioning your UPSC profile, just to make sure that the accumulation, another accumulation can be avoided. I can say that you are mentally stable in order to mention that. Because I raise out your failure,
Okay.
you can be mentally stable.
Okay.
So, what's your take on that?
Sir, as I've explained, it's not about something me hiding, because I myself have told that I've appeared for 2018,
How could you miss that? Because it is a bigger competitive experience than other things, right?
Okay, so I thought mentioning the positives that will have a different take.
It means that you are worried about your failure.
It's not about that, sir. Basically, even though whatever UPS has given me, I'm ready to talk about that, and whatever the drawbacks I've faced regarding the interview process, so I'm ready to talk about that, and I'm willing to embrace that defeat also. It's not that I'm humiliated by that or I'm scared of that. I can restore whatever it has given me. In fact, whatever exams that I've attempted to are also a contribution of UPSC, because the once you prepare for UPSC, the other exams are like a subset for all the UPSC preparation, whatever I've got. So there's the work ethic that UPSC has given and the kind of content that I can digest. It is just the blessing of UPSC that has been given to me. So the same work ethic I've adopted in completing these exams, and that has been part of it.
Can you mention any two weaknesses? And how you are handling those weaknesses in your daily life?
Okay, one is my overcommitment, sir. That is one of the weakness. That is my overcommitment, because without reading through the intentions of the other person, I tend to commit a bit more. So the manner in which I'm right now working is I'm just pausing down, I'm just slowing down, so that alternate thinking can also be encouraged without going ahead as a knee-jerk manner and committing in full. That is one. And the another thing is my obsession with food. I have been a foodie right from my childhood. And since now I'm past 30, I'm trying to discipline myself of taking too much of these carbs and everything. I'm reorganizing my schedule.
When you carry these weaknesses into your job profile,
I think there will be an auto adjustment, because once you're exposed to a busy profile, you'll not have much time to think about all these things, and you'll have to self-discipline yourself to deliver things on time. So definitely there's a strength of the system that will discipline myself.
Okay, a very good. But you need to improve your brevity. You're explaining a lot.
Okay,
Okay, try to be brief.
okay,
Yes. And then if you want to ask the panel member to repeat the question, just use sorry in front of it.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
just use that word. This was good gestures, eye contact, clarity, everything.
Okay.
All this.
One thing that I wanted to clear, see, people, I've heard input stating that you just make it a conversation. If they ask you what is this, you don't answer to what is that. You just add something element to make it attractive, so they are inclined to listen to you. So probably in that thought process, I've continued the conversation and I've given you more information. I'm just going by that. Is that right thing to do, or how do I moderate that?
What the suggestion is very good actually. Only then they can assess your personality.
Exactly.
But it shouldn't be more. It shouldn't go with the panel, right?
Okay.
That's one thing. Just you can add 1-2 points, but don't explain it. Just mention it. It's enough.
Okay. Because I've done a lot of groundwork. So the reason I'm citing these also, someone who has worked at the ground level, probably that will be reflected towards that. And
మీకు తెలిసిపోతుంది బోర్డు అటెంటివ్ గా ఉన్నారా,
Yeah.
దాన్ని బట్టి మనం వెళ్ళాలి. కొంతమంది ఇంతకుముందు నేను వచ్చినప్పుడు ఒక విఆర్ఓ ప్రొఫైల్ వచ్చింది.
okay.
వాడు ప్రాక్టికల్ నాలెడ్జ్ తెలుస్తుంది సార్, డాటెడ్ ఏంటి మీ మండలంలో మీ రెవెన్యూలో డాటెడ్ లైన్స్ ఉన్నాయంటే నో సార్ అన్నాడు.
Okay.
దెన్ ద సాన్ ఫెల్ట్ ఇంప్రెసివ్. అక్కడ గ్రిల్ చేస్తూ వెళ్ళాడు. అంటే బోర్డు బోరుగా ఉందా, మీ ఇచ్చే ఆన్సర్ కి సాచురేట్ అయిపోయిందా చూసుకొని యూ హావ్ టు బట్
Okay.
వాళ్ళు ఇఫ్ దే ఆర్ వెరీ ఇంప్రెసివ్ మీ యొక్క ఆన్సర్ కి, మీ చెట్టు దానికి వింటూ ఉన్నారు,
Okay.
దట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి వెరీ కాన్షియస్.
Okay.
బోర్డుని బట్టి అది మీరు చేయగలిగితే క్రిస్ప్ గా చెప్పాలా,
Okay.
అడిషన్ ఇవ్వాలని తెలుస్తుంది. ఫ్రమ్ మై సైడ్ యాజ్ ఐ మెన్షన్ దట్ చాలా ప్రిపరేషన్ చేయడం వల్ల ఇమీడియట్ ఆన్సర్స్ వస్తున్నాయి మాకు.
Yes, sir.
ప్రిపరేషన్ చేయడం వల్ల ఇమీడియట్ ఆన్సర్స్ రావడం వల్ల ఏమవుతుందంటే మీరు పెట్టిన ఎఫర్ట్ కి వాల్యూ రాదు. There is still some parts. 2-3 seconds తీసుకొని
Okay.
to avoid that your repetitive behavior.
Okay.
తెలిసిన ప్రతిదానికి ఆన్సర్స్ ఇస్తున్నారు.
Okay.
దట్ ఆల్సో గివ్స్ దట్ మీరు ఆన్సర్ పేపర్ లీక్ అయిన ఒక ఇంప్రెషన్ లాగా ఉంటుంది మీకు.
Okay.
కొద్దిగా చూసుకోండి. ఇంకోటి ఐ డోంట్ కేర్ అనే పదం వాడారు. ఐ డోంట్ కేర్ అబౌట్ ది కాన్సిక్వెన్సెస్ ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ ఐ ప్రాసెస్ ఇట్.
Okay.
వెరీ నెగిటివ్ and it may show that your attitude in a negative sense.
Okay.
When you are discharging your role's responsibility, I think there's an already in the service.
Okay.
అక్కడ మనం ఐ డోంట్ కేర్ అప్రోచ్ అనేది మనకి ఇన్హెరెంట్ గా ఉండాలి. కానీ బట్ వెన్ ఇట్ కమ్స్ టు దట్ వన్, సో వీళ్ళ చెప్పే ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే గవర్నమెంట్ లోకి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత ఎక్కడైతే మనిషి ఉంటాడో అక్కడ మంచి చెడు రెండూ ఉంటుంది. అది బ్యాలెన్స్ చేయడమే మన కర్తవ్యం అనేది. మనం డోంట్ కేర్ అప్రోచ్ అనేది కాన్సిక్వెన్సెస్ ఉంటుంది.
So I politely rejected process.
I politely projected it. I don't care about the
Okay.
consequences. Rather, you can say in a different way. అలా చేయగలిగితే సరిపోతుంది. వెరీ ఇంప్రెసివ్ ఆదిత్య. Please keep it. We expect into the service. All the best.
And one more point. See, I just heard in an interview wherein that whatever process you design, whatever achievements you are done in your present, then you portray that so that that will elevate your చెప్పారు. So I designed this process basically retail portfolio కూడా. Basically వాళ్ళకు బిజినెస్ లేకపోయినా కూడా I bought a 6 crore portfolio. That the entire chain was built by me. So ఇది I can explain in case I get an opportunity, I can explain it to either. So that is the groundwork because from bare scratch I bought that. So NGO thing also, whatever I've explained, those are not bluffings. Those are what we really did.
అంటే బోర్డు ఇంప్రెసివ్ ఉందనుకోండి, మీరు చెప్తూ ఉంటే మేము కనెక్ట్ అవుతున్నాం అనుకోండి,
Okay.
అప్పుడు మీరు ఎలాబరేట్ చేయొచ్చు. ఎందుకంటే ముందరే వస్తుంటాయి సార్, నేను ఆ ఎన్జిఓలో పనిచేస్తాను, ఈ ఎన్జిఓలో పనిచేస్తాను, ఇప్పటికే
Okay.
4-5 వచ్చేస్తాయి.
Okay.
దాంట్లో కొత్త ఏముంది,
Okay.
గివ్ అని, ప్రేరణ అని, స్పందన అని, ఇప్పుడు మార్నింగ్ నుంచి చూస్తామంటే అన్ని ఎన్జిఓస్ సొసైటీ
Okay.
వాళ్ళు ఇంప్రెసివ్ గా ఉన్నారు అనుకోండి, మీరు చెప్పిన ఎగ్జాంపుల్ బోర్డుకి కనెక్ట్ అవుతుంది అనుకోండి, జస్ట్ యాడ్ ఇట్.
Okay.
లేదంటే మై సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ రోల్ అది నేను చేస్తాను సార్, అక్కడ చేయగలిగే.
Okay.
ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ సెషన్ మీరు లాస్ట్ 2-3 మెంబర్స్ లో ఉన్నారు అనుకోండి,
Okay.
అప్పుడు అంత విల్లింగ్ గా ఉండకపోవచ్చు, అంత లెంతీ.
Okay. నాది 4 ముందు లాస్ట్ క్యాండిడేట్.
కొంచెం అడ్వాంటేజ్
ఆల్రెడీ వేర్ అవుట్ అయిపోయి ఉంటారు.
రైట్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు లీవ్ ది రూమ్.
ఓకే.
వెరీ గుడ్.
అండ్ ఈ పోస్ట్ రిఫరెన్స్ ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఇంకా బెటర్ గా ప్రొజెక్ట్ చేసుకోండి.
ఓకే.
రాదర్ దాట్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ పోస్ట్ మీకు ఎన్ని పోస్ట్ ఉన్నా, సో ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ ఇన్ మినిట్ మీకు ఆ పోస్ట్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఈవెన్ ఒకటిన్నర.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు 1 or 2 పోస్ట్ ఉన్నా ఐ హావ్ ది సేమ్ అడ్వాంటేజ్ యాజ్ అ లోకల్ ఫర్ దట్. అది నాకు ఐడియా లేదు అసలు.
ఇది మీరు ఐడియా లేదా అక్కడ చెప్పకూడదు.
ఓకే. అది ఆఫ్ ద రికార్డ్. యా.
సో మీరు అప్పుడు అక్కడ అంటే సో దేర్ విల్ బి సమ్ పర్సెంటేజ్ ఫర్ అదర్ కోటాస్.
ఓకే.
ఆ కోటాలో సో మీరు ఉంటే యూ విల్ గెట్ దట్ పోస్ట్. అంటే అక్కడ నెంబర్ ఎక్కువ ఉంది అనేది మాత్రం మీకు బట్టి ఆ లెవెల్లో మీరు చెప్పకూడదు.
ఓకే.
అది కాస్త బెటర్. ఫోర్ ఆఫ్ ఎన్జిఓస్ ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఇప్పుడు ఈ గవర్నమెంట్ లో ఎక్కువ రిలేషన్.
ఓకే.
అండ్ స్కేలబుల్ పర్సెంటేజ్ ఉందండి. అండ్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ నాట్ విల్లింగ్ టు గెట్ రిజిస్టర్డ్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దే ఆర్ గెటింగ్ ఎనార్మస్ ఆఫ్ ఫారెన్ మనీ. సో అది ఒకసారి బెటర్ గా ప్రొజెక్ట్ చేసుకోండి. మీరు రాసిన ఈ డాప్ లో కూడా ఎక్కువ ఎన్జిఓస్ మీదే ఉంటాయి.
ఓకే.
ఎక్కువ అట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తుంది.
సో నార్మల్ ఈ పోస్ట్ వేకెన్సీస్ బేసిస్ మీద ఉంటాయి. బట్ ఆ వేకెన్సీస్ బేసిస్ మీద ఇచ్చినప్పుడు మీరు జస్టిఫికేషన్ చేయడం ట్రై చేయండి. ఇప్పుడు వెల్ఫేర్ ఆఫ్ స్కోప్ అని అడిగారు, అండ్ ఆ కేసు ఎలా చేయాలని అడిగారు కదా, రిజిస్టర్ గా ఉన్నప్పుడు చేయాలని. సో దాని యొక్క రోల్స్ అండ్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీస్ మీరు ప్రిపేర్ అయ్యారు. లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ ఇంపాక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తారని చెప్పి జస్టిఫై చేయండి తప్ప అక్కడ మీరు ఆబ్వియస్లీ వేకెన్సీస్ ప్రకారం పెట్టాలి, లేకపోతే తక్కువ వేకెన్సీస్ మీరు ఎందుకు పెట్టి అది ఆఫీస్. దెన్ మెయిన్ నేను ఇక్కడ క్వశ్చన్ ఎందుకు అడిగాను, టీఎస్పీఎస్సీ గ్రూప్ 1 ఫిలిమ్స్, ఏపీఎస్సీ గ్రూప్ 1 యూపీఎస్సీ ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వకపోతే మామూలుగా ఇక్కడికి రాదు. సో అది ప్రొజెక్ట్ చేయలేదు, కానీ అది జస్ట్ నేను అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ కూడా మీరు అది జస్టిఫై చేయండి. ఎందుకంటే దట్స్ గుడ్ దట్ యూ ప్రొజెక్ట్ యువర్ ఓన్లీ పాజిటివ్. అది మీరు ఎందుకు టీఎస్పీఎస్సీ గ్రూప్ 1 ఫిలిమ్స్, ఏపీఎస్సీ గ్రూప్ 1 ఎందుకు కంప్లీట్ చేశారో జస్టిఫికేషన్ చేయండి. అదొకటి. ఓకే.
And just a point. See, UPSC, I already have the. Even if I hide it also, obviously someone will identify that, and UPSC అది గుర్తుపడతా అనుకోండి. So did you attempt for UPSC అంటే should I stay calm, no sir అని blunt గా చెప్పేయాలా, లేదా I've attempted అని చెప్పమంటారు?
చెప్పండి అంటే యూ హ్యావ్ లెర్న్ మెనీ థింగ్స్ కదా ప్రిపరేషన్ వల్ల.
ఓకే.
అటెంప్ట్ ఇచ్చామని చెప్పొచ్చు.
And you still have age, right? I mean, you are 35, up to 35 you can attempt, right? And Mali you are sitting into that
ఆప్షన్ సబ్జెక్ట్ సైమల్టేనియస్ ప్రెషర్ చేస్తున్నాను. So
he is not yet settled and he might go on the project.
I always believe in enhancing his skill set, no?
Okay.
మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్ బోర్డ్ కి బోర్డ్ పర్సెప్షన్ ఎప్పుడు ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే ఈ గ్రూప్ 1 తో సెటిల్ అయ్యి మనకు ఉండదు అక్కడ.
Okay.
గ్రూప్ 1 is though is బెస్ట్ జాబ్, వచ్చేవాళ్ళు ప్రొఫైల్ సగం మంది అలానే ఉంటారు.
Okay.
You can say I'm improving my skills. So with my preparation, I came all the way for Group 1 interview. But for UPSC, I have crossed off the mile. Still, I need to improve my option subject. So once I'm done, definitely I continue my learning. అనేది చెప్తే అనేది పాజిటివ్ అయిపోవచ్చు. ఒక అటెంప్ట్ ఇచ్చామని చెప్పొచ్చు.
ఓకే.
ఒక అటెంప్ట్ 2 అటెంప్ట్స్ ఇచ్చామని ఇచ్చినా ఇబ్బంది లేదు. ఒక అతను ఇంత ముందు వచ్చాడు, ప్రొఫెసర్ చందు అని, మిస్టర్ చందు. He gave 3 attempts, not able to clear the preliminary exam. When we ask the reason that there is a weakness in preparation, he says he said. When you repeat he said 3 times reason, it means that you failed to improve your mistake. Such kind of repetitive mistakes we should avoid. But telling about UPSC 1 or 2 attempts, it's fine. ఎందుకంటే మీ ప్రొఫైల్ బోర్డ్ ఇంప్రెషన్ కూడా మీకు చాలా స్కిల్ ఉంది, చాలా రీసెర్చ్ చేశారు. You applied for TSPSC Group 1, APPSC. They don't agree that you will not apply for UPSC.
Correct.
Bluff అనేది వస్తుంది.
And I'll also lose my confidence as a bluffing.
అంటే you substantiation proper గా ఉంటే you can proceed. But we felt that UPSC mention చేసుకుంటే better అనేది. That was the
పాజిటివ్ సైడ్ వస్తుంది.
Okay.
కొన్ని రీజనల్ ఇష్యూస్ మీరు కూడా కొంచెం అవేర్ అవ్వాల్సి వస్తుంది.
Okay.
అండ్ ప్రీవియస్ మన కన్వర్సేషన్ లో కూడా అదే ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేశాను. ఒకసారి చెక్ చేశాను మీరు ఎంతవరకు చూసారా, బట్ సేమ్ వచ్చేసింది. అండ్ కొన్ని డ్రిల్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేశాను, కొంచెం థింక్ చేశాను, థాట్ ప్రాసెస్ కూడా బాగానే అనిపించింది. సో కొంచెం లోకల్ ఇష్యూస్, లోకల్ న్యూస్ పేపర్స్ అదే మేబీ అక్కడ నేను టార్గెట్ చేయడానికి స్కోప్ ఇస్తున్నాను, మీరు అక్కడే స్కోప్ ఇస్తున్నారు.
అదే
మీ హ్యాండ్ గెస్టర్స్ కూడా అంటే టిక్ గా ఉండటం.
ఓకే.
అది కాదు.
ఈ పోజ్ చాలా బాగుంది, కానీ ఇట్లా పెట్టుకున్నప్పుడు కొద్దిగా somewhere you are losing the road.
ఓకే. అంటే కొంచెం లూజ్ చేస్తే ఐ టెండ్ టు మూవ్ మై హ్యాండ్ అలాట్, అందుకని
ఇలా పెట్టుకొని
ఓకే
ఇట్లా చెప్తే బాగుంటుంది, కానీ ఇట్లా పెట్టుకున్నప్పుడు మాకు అంత అనిపించలేదు.
ఒక్క క్వశ్చన్ మనం మిస్ చేస్తాం అంటే మేబీ అడగచ్చు అన్నట్టు, మీరు ఇందాక మెన్షన్ చేస్తారు 5 to 10% రీసెర్చ్ ఇండియాలో ఉంది అని చెప్పి, కానీ మీరు రీసెర్చ్ జేఆర్ఎఫ్ చేసి యూఆర్ ఆప్టింగ్ ఫర్ గ్రూప్ 1 సర్వీసెస్, మీరు సైంటిఫిక్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ రీసెర్చ్ సైడ్ వెళ్ళొచ్చు. సో వై యూ చూస్ అనేది మేబీ
opportunities are few and the regularity of the postings is also not
సమ్మన్ ఇటు స్టార్ట్ కదా అని చెప్పి క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుంది. సో అదొకటి ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వాలి.
right. Thank you.
మీకు